resource under the sun, most knowledgeable business founder and multi-business founder. But Carolyn, do you want to go ahead and kick us off today?
Yes, I'm sorry. I think I went ahead on the presentation. Hi, everyone. My name is Caroline Torres. I am a local and multipreneur here in Arizona. I have a venue in downtown Phoenix called Heritage Headquarters. Is a space created and designed to bring community together and bring founders to come in and exchange ideas, launch products, and have them give them access to opportunities of growth. I'm also the founder of the Women Movement, which is a nonprofit organization that focuses on helping women on five pillars, which is the leadership development, mental and emotional health, spiritual health, financial health, and physical health. Because in order for women to be whole, they need to, work on not just one thing. We're not just business owners. We're not just moms. We're not just um, community leaders. We are human beings that have different needs and different time of our lives. So I'm very passionate about building community, and I work really hard every day to become a better version of myself. And because of that, I have taken the time to participate in a lot of the programs that Seed Spots offers. So I'm a product of the program, right? I believe in the program, and that's why when we were having conversations um, about opportunities of giving value to business owners, we came up with this workshop, right? Build to last, because I understand that there's a lot of businesses out there that fail within the first 2 years, the first 18 months of them having that great idea. So we felt that it was time to share a little bit of not only my own experiences, but also to hear from founders such as yourselves to come in and share some of your struggles. But again, at the end of the day, the plan of and the goal of this workshop is to have a roadmap that help us build a business to last. So let's go ahead and get started. I don't know if you guys really quick, how many people do we have in the waiting
Nobody's in
room?
the waiting room, but
Um,
on the call right now, we've got 14 participants.
okay, perfect. So let's take a few minutes just to give it a couple of minutes for other people to join the call. I don't know if which one wants to start introducing themselves. You got 30 seconds to tell us about your business, who you are, and and so we could get to know each other and see who's in the room. Who wants to get started? I think I'm gonna have to start calling names.
I
I
can go.
am
I'll go.
Oh,
Okay, great.
I'm Pamela Williams, and my organization is Journey Out of Homelessness. We help the unhoused community, and I also have a Pamela's Gifted Hands basket um, retail company.
Perfect. Who's next?
I can go. Hi, everyone. My name's Beth. I am very thankful to SeedSpot because at the launch camp, I finally got a little bit of clarity on my business that I want to do. So I am planning on launching a business that does coaching and workshops that are play-based and fun learning through art and creativity and play.
I'll go next. I'm Dr. Jessica Arner, and I'm the founder and CEO of Friend Fixer, where we're solving the joint problem of loneliness and job replacement. It is a paid friendship matching service targeting healthy adults ages 18 and over. We actually achieved our first big milestone last week, about a week ago on Monday, and I was awarded patent pending status for the algorithm that I'm building to match people. So that was an exciting little thank you.
Who's next? Pamela?
We've got Elizabeth.
Ladies and gentlemen, in order for this workshop to work out, I'm going to require participation. I know that part of my goal when it comes to this workshop is that we see that we're not alone in this journey. That we see that other founders, other creators have and go through the same struggles sometimes that we go through, especially when we are the early stages of our business. Because again, the goal of this whole even process that we're going through and what we're navigating with SeedSpot is to build sustainable businesses, is to grow, not only our reach, but understand exactly the value that we bring as business owners to the community. And so participation is always key, whether you're in this class or in another class. So who else is there?
I'll go next. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Nelly, founder, owner of NCW Grants and Associates. I help nonprofits and for-profit businesses with securing funding, finding funding, managing, and sustaining for long-term goals.
Thank you, Dr. Nelly.
Hi, my name is Diana. I'm from Argentina. And the name of our company is called Green Loop. We want to produce plastic good with recycling materials to bring like a sustainable solution for construction industry. Thank you.
Okay, so if nobody else wants to go.
I can go.
Okay.
Or does somebody else want to go?
You can go ahead.
You could
Oh,
go,
you.
Mr. iPhone.
Oh, I'll update my name on there actually right now. Hi, my name is Gustavo. I'm based out of Phoenix, Arizona. I'm the founder of Goose and Co. We are a luxury footwear or a luxury lifestyle brand, blending bold design with handcrafted luxury quality from Leon, Mexico, which is the shoe capital of Mexico. And I started in designer dog footwear, but now we've expanded to people footwear, and we are looking to become more of a lifestyle brand.
Excellent.
My name is Brittany Johnson. I'm a natural skincare brand. I am a chemist, so I formulate and make my own products. I'm based out of Phoenix. And yeah, happy to be here.
Okay, well, very nice to meet you all. I'm happy that you guys took the time to invest in your business and attend this workshop. Please take a lot of notes, and if you're not able to take notes, I would highly recommend that you revisit the recording of this video. I hope that at the end of this workshop that you guys come up with some little nuggets that help us and help you build a sustainable business. And you're able to turn your dream, your idea into something that not only survive but thrive. Nobody creates a business or start a business with the vision of just surviving. It's very stressful to be on survival mode. And there's only so much that we could take when it comes to like burnout, when it comes to even decision fatigue, that it's important that we understand that there are better ways to not only make your idea go from, again, a vision and a dream and passion, but into something that is sustainable, and hopefully in the future, when you're ready to move on, you able to actually sell it and make some money off of it. And so part of what we're going to talk about today, okay, I guess my clicker is not working, is what we're going to gain today is that we're going to walk away with a customized, sustainable blueprint tailored to your unique business needs. Um, it's important that we learn that building systems is important for our business. Also, my goal is to help you build a 30-day action plan, and also, I do expect everybody to participate, to share some of their experiences, whether they're good or bad. But the idea is that we start to understand, and I'm going to be doing a lot of sharing because obviously, when I first started with any of the businesses that I have, the first 2 to 3 years were extremely difficult. So my goal is that we all have something that we could take and hopefully even share with other creatives, other business owners. So part of the agreement that we're going to have today is that this is a safe space. We want everybody to feel confident and comfortable to share, um, to share their struggles, to share practical practices that they have been able to build to help move the needle when it comes to their business. And I hope with that whenever you guys are providing any feedback, that you do it with the understanding that there's no judgment, that we first need to listen and understand what our peers are sharing with us, and be practical and honest, right? Um, so as you all know, many oh, I think I skipped. Okay. One of the things that I want you guys to start thinking about is like when you started with your idea, what inspired your business idea? What was that spark that you said, you know what, I think this will be a great idea? Was it driven out of passion? Was it driven out of like the potential of making money? I also would like you guys to start thinking about some of the challenges that you guys are facing in executing and turning that idea into a business, into an actual profitable business. So who wants to share, something that, who wants to share like what inspired them to start their business? Well, I'm gonna get started. So, as I mentioned earlier, I'm the founder of the Heritage Headquarters, which is a beautiful space in downtown Phoenix. I have been a realtor for over 20 years in Phoenix, a successful realtor that I really didn't need it to start that project. But because I'm a relationship type of agent, I do a lot of mixers, I do a lot of client appreciation events. And little by little, I realized that there was a need for beautiful spaces that were both affordable and also location wise that were easy to get to, and provided resources for other businesses like myself that wanted to host, again, whether it was a product launch or um, do an anniversary party or an anniversary dinner. So when the idea started, I mean, I was like, maybe I'm a little crazy, right? I was like, okay, let me work on my numbers. I'm gonna work on a system. How do I make this sustainable? So I decided to make it into a co-working space. I found a big space in downtown Phoenix that met certain criteria based on what I thought was a good business strategy, which again, it was in the heart of downtown, easy to get to, free parking. So it checked a lot of boxes. And as I mentioned, I figure that I will make part of this space into a co-working space so other businesses could also use it to go and do their day-to-day operations just like me with my real estate business. But as I'm going through the journey of creating this idea, I started facing challenges. Challenges that because of the lack of knowledge or not necessarily the lack of research, because I did a lot of research before I started with this vision of this a special space that was very unique. And in my own words, I'm like, oh, this is gonna it's gonna become a revolution when it comes to the space, co-working space environment, because we were also thinking about doing bilingual programming with different organizations that could bring resources to other business owners within the space. But then soon I realized that it was going to take me way too long to make that business into a profitable business because it was driven automatically just out of passion. And if it wasn't because I took the workshop with Seed Spot, honestly, I think that at this point I would have been out of business because number one, I lack the systems that would allow me to make it into a profitable business in the time that I had when it came to my budget, because this is a self-funded project that I never realized it was going to take 3 to 4 years to turn it into a profitable idea if it wasn't because, again, I was giving tools and opportunities to explore other options that will help me keep the doors open. So that idea was great. It was driven by passion, so I was okay working and not getting compensated, which a lot of you guys are willing to do when you start your business. You're like, I don't care if I make any money. I want to see my idea come to life. But let's be honest, after a while, you'll get tired, you'll start getting burned out. The bills will start not necessarily going on pay, but your personal life gets affected because now you're not able to take time off. You're not able to provide the things that you used to provide to your family, like vacations, um, you know, not necessarily the basic necessities, because a lot of time, again, you plan it all out and you say, oh, I have a budget, but you forget the fundamentals, right? Um, and that's when, again, having a community and having systems behind of the things that you are building um, are important. So what are some of the challenges that some of you guys are facing right now? Because I share not only my idea, but some of the challenges that I had at the beginning of my journey about 12 months ago.
Well, this is Pamela Williams talking right now. My journey, um, journey out of homelessness came about due to me being homeless after a car accident. So, having both my hips replaced and no place to stay and out on the street. Um, I tell you, the Lord deployed angels and people were taking me in, me and my family. So when I was rewarded a settlement, the name came to me in a dream. And my opinion, the Lord said, now you are to help others that are out there, because it was a hard struggle for me, especially being the age I am. Um, so I decided to start off with toiletries, and we had 20 bags. And when I went to places and saw how many people were in need, I wind up going through 100 and then even more. And we decided to do clothing drives for the people who are in need. And we started making 300 meals for those people until, you know, they came down and closed what they called at the time was Tent City. in Arizona. So my problem and my issues was, and I tell young people today, don't go off like I did. I didn't have a bank account for the business, and I was using money out of my account. So I couldn't get that PPE money at the time. And even though I had, was able to show monies that I was spending for the organization. Uh, Make sure you get all of your ducks in a row because it's very important. Uh, Definitely when you're dealing with the federal government and having all of your licenses and things in order. Um, so my issue, as I said, we don't have a donor base um, um, because that's important too if you're a nonprofit. Um, to have foundations that could look at you and see what you're doing and how effective you are with helping the unfortunate. Um, and like right now, we're looking to put in this cooling center, but everything takes money. That's $55,000 that's needed. So I know Dr. Nelly. Um, we definitely need grants. Um, it's good to have free money that you don't have to pay back. And we did have two houses running until those bad actors out there, in the medical world decided they want to double bill and have people on the roster that was not living and taking people off their land and bringing them in and making them be a part of something that they didn't want to be, and the government, not the government, the city stopped it. So we're owed $185,000 that we'll never see. So I'm keeping it moving. God is good, and I know He's going to work everything out. But that is what I face with my organization, you know.
So what would you say is a win out of this experience that you went through for your organization? Like what is one experience that now you have under your belt that now allows you to forecast maybe in the future, um, you know, not
Well,
necessarily challenges, but opportunities of growth, like learning opportunities.
the learning opportunity is you get to meet and help people of all walks of life. Um, you get to show them ways, you know, other than drugs and liquor, and how to become what's my favorite word I use, whole again. So it's a blessing because that's what my ministry is all about. I like talking to people. I like sharing my stories. I like um, praying with them, and letting them know there's a better way, you know, uh, to get back on your feet because I was one of those people myself. Is that what you were asking?
Well, what I mean, that's a win. That's a win that you're able to create an opportunity for the community to for the community that you're servicing to see beyond their challenges, right? Now, as a business owner, now you also understand that you have to have not only rely on one stream of income when it comes to, federal money, federal grants and things like that, which is one of the things that I learned myself, even with my nonprofit. When we relied on grants and when we rely on one thing only, um, we open ourselves to, again, um,
Yes, I hear you.
challenges.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's a big challenge when you when you're not wealthy yourself. uh, to be able to work that situation out the way you want to work it out, and to have the I mean, I've learned a lot. I learned from my mistakes, which was, after getting my nonprofit of 501c3, um, not knowing that I needed to have a bank account in the nonprofit's name, even though I had the EIN number. I just, as they say, I carried the cart before the horse, and I had to step back.
Well, the truth of early stages businesses is that the gap between having a great idea and running a sustainable operation is where most of us struggle. Understanding that in order for us to grow, in order for us to move forward with our businesses, not only we need to build systems, but also create opportunities and where we always learning what our business needs specifically. I mean, the fact that you didn't know that you needed a bank account under the name of your organization. I mean, and this is why I'm so passionate to work with C-Spot, is because that is the number one step that they, most of these organizations out there help you with. It's like understanding that you need to set up, again, we go back to systems, we go back to even having the right tools within your organization to help you succeed. Because otherwise, you're going to be spending a lot of energy and then you won't see results. And by creating system, by having an operational manual, for example, on how, in the future, different stages of your business are going to be handled, will help reduce the chaos and increase the opportunity for you to grow, because now you're becoming more and more consistent in the way, like, for example, in your business, um, um, keeping log of things that you guys are doing for the community. And I don't talk about just social media, because I see a lot of businesses out there that they do a good job posting a lot of the things that they're doing. But in reality, when you get an audit of any kind, or when you have an organization that wants to invest in your business, they are going to ask you, can you show me your numbers? Can you show me what you have done? Can you show me the impact that you have created in your community? So in order for, again, for your business to grow, in order for your business to be something that you're able to sell in the future, you need to start implementing day-to-day operations, and also making sure that you're following certain guidelines that in the long run will help you, um, not just survive, but to thrive. Um,
Yes, well, we were surviving and thriving. We were making $58,000 a month. Um, so we have a, um, a set of, the business set up, and having the house, and you know uh, placing individuals, with uh, medical uh, knowledge that would assist the clients when they go to their clinics, and we would drive them to the clinic. We had the house set up where everything that they need, food, and that we would have each one adult in the house that you know um, was not afraid of the kitchen. We would set everything up where they could cook a meal of their choice for that particular day. So there was some stability in the house, just like there's also this stability in giving out the toiletries and clothes, and cooking those meals. We still do that. As a matter of fact, we're having another one next month. We do it quarterly. So there's the setup is the only thing, as I stated, was, you know, not having the funds. I mean, when we had the funds and the report of how we were making money monthly for the financial institution, it was not long enough for them to say, okay, we'll take you guys and we'll help you get started with at least one home and let you start all over again with the plan that you have because it worked. So that's what I mean about what we're doing. And yes, I've been with Seed Spot since their inception.
So no, and I appreciate that you sharing part of your journey
Yeah.
with us. And again, I know that everybody, based on their type of businesses, they're gonna encounter different,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
different things that they're gonna encounter different challenges and opportunities that will allow them to again grow. But my goal also with this whole workshop is to make sure that you guys survive the first 2 years of your business and you go beyond that. So now, because again, participation, in order for me to put together the next section of our program for today, I want to know for from some of you guys, and I included a QR code so you could go in. It's a live survey that basically I want to know in which stage of your business you are in. Are you still operating from an idea stage, or are you already have a system that you could trust, meaning not only an operating agreement on how you're gonna intake your clients, what kind of email automatizations you have going on in your business, billing, your CPA, do you have a CPA in system? Like, again, the idea is that you guys start to think about, what are some of the repeatable processes that you guys already have in place, or tools or frameworks that you have to, again, help you move your business forward. That you could also step in and have an assistant help you with this whole system, that you could hire an employee and say, you know what, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. So I want you guys to be completely transparent when you think of this question, and before you answer it, like, are you in the idea stage where everything is in your mind, or is everything already on paper to where somebody could take in if you're sick and take over your business and help you run it? So take a few minutes, go in. It's only 2 questions, and it's a live poll. So I'm going to be able to see of how many of you guys actually, responds, and I'll share with you guys the results.
Is there a link? I don't have. I'm on my phone, so
Oh,
I
you
can't
and your
QR code
phone.
anything.
Okay, so let
Hmm.
me let me go ahead and share the link. Let me see if
Thank
there's a
you.
share. Give me 1 second.
I'm also on my phone, but I'm also door
But
dashing.
you could also raise your hands if because I do in the chat, if you guys could go ahead and give me one hands up if you're in the idea stage, and two hands up if you already have a complete system that you could say, hey, you know what, if I get sick tomorrow, someone could come in and pick it up and go.
I'm not necessarily in the idea stage, but I feel like I've done my business kind of like all over the place. So I'm now writing all my SOPs. But I've been in business for 5 years because I'm realizing that I can't hand my business over to anyone if I don't have those things because I've been doing everything myself.
So again, sorry, I'm trying to share with you guys the link. Give me one quick second. So give me 1 second. Yes. Okay, so trying to figure out how to share with you guys the link because I have it in a different program. But let me see the chat group if I'm able to open it up over here because it looks like I'm gonna have to rely on that. Idea stage. Give me 1 second, guys. I was not prepared to bring you guys the link, to give you the link. I have the link. You guys see the link now? I put it in the chat in the group. So if you could take a few minutes so I could go ahead and then share the results with you guys. And again, in order for this workshop to be, like I mentioned at the beginning, to be useful, participation is key. Um, let's see. Is everybody done putting their answers in so I could share the results?
Got a bunch of thumbs up and a yes in the chat.
Okay, so far I have about 11 responses. So I'm struggling here sharing with you guys the screen for the results. But so far, about 90% of the participants today have their business in the idea stage. So now, oh gosh, I think my screen is frozen. Okay. So now that also it's important to, oh, give me 1 second. Trying to pull in the results. Well, for me, one of the things that helped me, especially after I was part of one of the workshops with Seed Spot, is to understand that it's not just an idea that sounds great, that an idea that I thought I had a business plan for it, but also understanding that even within my system, even within my ideas, there were a lot of gaps. And executing those executing certain things on a daily basis allowed me to see that there were problems that I needed to solve first in order for me to actually create a predictable outcome that was able to free me up to not only protect my energy but also reduce the chaos that it was consistently happening in my business. Let me give you guys an example. I went from, again, an idea of having a co-working space, but then little by little, I realized that most of our members within the space wanted to host events. I did not have a booking system for them to come in and book the space and even set up catering services and things like that. So I run into a lot of issues because our members will host an event. In some way, somehow, I would end up with electrical fire in there. Why? Because I did not have set of rules that didn't, let's say, outline that they were not allowed to bring certain equipment, um, or connect in certain outlets or not connect in certain outlets and do certain things. Um, and again, because of the different inexperiences or experiences that I was encountering, I decided that, for me, in order to survive as a business owner, I needed to not only create something that was consistently outlining not only my expectations, but also consistently letting people know rules, and also, again, defining the holes in the challenges for me was crucial. Why? Because I needed to have clarity of, okay, so if somebody was going to have this, use the space for an event, when I created the space to also actually have and host more meetings than anything else, what needs to happen? If they're going to use an outside caterer, what does the outside caterers need to do? So I had to start creating rules after rules after rules, and also a scalable system. So if they were having a meeting for 10 people, it's different than having a meeting for 200 people. So what are some of those procedures that I need to implement in my business that will give me a backbone to run my everyday operations, Um, in managing every detail. Why? Because if one day I'm not able to be there and I have a staff running the event or running the space, they needed to have clear guidelines. That's why I burned out three of my assistants. The first year I had three people that quit on me because they were coming up to me with questions that not even I had the answers. So I'm not here sharing with you guys this workshop because, oh, I'm an expert on a scalable system. Um, I'm an expert on real estate system, and I built a successful business that allowed me to fund this idea on my own and run with it for 2 years or for the first 12 months without having a clue. But I was also burning out a lot of money. Why? Because of the lack of consistency when it came to procedures and how even the members were going to utilize the space. I thought I knew it all. I thought I had clear guidelines, but obviously that wasn't the case because I was being burned out physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, but also like my team didn't have clarity of what they needed to do. So, in order for you to survive as a business owner, you need to create systems that are consistency, that bring consistency to your operations, that have clarity to your team members and the people that are working with you, that are able to be scalable, and that provide you some sanity, to everybody that is, again, working with you guys. Um, what is not a system? I know a lot of people out there think that a system is something that, like, well, I have an idea of how I want things to be run. I have an idea that is in your head, that is very random, meaning that, like I mentioned earlier, my staff was coming up to me with questions like, what do I do? They asking me this question, what do I do? And I was like, what would you do? I mean, that is not a consistent approach. Only because I didn't know the answer, didn't make it right. And again, that's why I take the personal accountability that I did not have the tools to provide them the opportunity to be successful. Reactive. A system is not reactive. It's always putting out fires is not the right way to run a business. Why? Because it creates a lot of stress. The outcomes are very inconsistent when it comes to even client customer satisfaction. And trust me, don't get me wrong, our clients were happy, but my team was not happy because we were always in the back end doing things that people didn't see behind the scenes to make it look good, but people were getting physically burned out. So in a way that didn't allow me an opportunity to grow, especially the first 18 months. Um, What is a system? Well, documenting all these different opportunities of learning. Because whenever you make a mistake, I don't want you guys to think, oh my gosh, I cannot make a mistake in my business. I cannot, um, I need to figure it all out. But when things happen, that you start documenting how those things were resolved and also having, a process in place that after every event you debrief with your staff. Like for me, it was like, okay, we're gonna start we're gonna have a meeting after every event so I could start finding out from our team what do they need to feel less stressed, to be more successful, to provide a better client experience. Why? Because the system is repeatable and it creates again measurable results that not only you're able to track but also you're able to follow up with your team. If something didn't get done, you'll be able to pinpoint where that mistake, or not even mistake, it's not the right word, but where did that gap on communication happen? And it's predictable. It's predictable because you start learning that let me give you an example. We had a conference, 200 people came into the space for 3 days. But because at that point, that happened recently, at that point we had a system. Okay, we're gonna go ahead, have the breakfast being delivered. Here's the menu of the items. This is what we need to put. This is the time that it needs to be put because the client is having breakfast, lunch, and dinner at a specific time. Everybody was super chill. Things happen super smooth, and that earns us a whole bunch of 5 stars with our clients. So those are the type of things that I want you guys to start thinking when you're building system. Like, what is the outcome based on the type of client that you're servicing that you want to seek every time? And it doesn't matter if you're the only employee of your business. You need to start thinking like eventually you're going to have someone that is going to help you, and they're going to be able to take this information and do it just as you would do it. I know a lot of times they're like, oh, I wish I had a clone. Well, you could go ahead and have a clone if you start building systems. And if you start building systems, and it's super simple. What are some of the tasks that you do often, that you repeat often? How did you do it? What felt uneasy or messy? Brainstorm ways that you could improve it. And that's why one of the things that we implemented with our team was a survey and a feedback form, especially for those that were vendors. Like for the vendors, like I put together a survey form so they could tell me about their experiences when they were in my space. What can we do better that they feel less stressed, that they also come in and they have clear expectations? So the only way I was able to achieve that successfully was creating surveys outside of the one-on-one, because not everybody was going to be able to have a one-on-one with us. So I want you guys to start thinking, okay, what are some of the tasks that I do? Again, which ways am I going to be able to interact with those businesses that are also supporting my business, that is going to allow them to continue to stay in business with us and create opportunities of growth, and expand our operations, and maybe again being able to to scale it up from where you are right now. Anybody has anything to say about this part, about this activity? I mean, I want you guys to take a few minutes. I know some of you guys are out and about, but I do wish that those that are sitting down take, again, some notes and maybe share one or two things that they're doing that they could put and implement into a system.
This is
Okay.
something I've been thinking a lot about. Excuse me, as I am transitioning out of a position to start my own business, because I've been putting systems in place that were missing in a position that I was in, and from the beginning, I really don't want to be in that position for my own business. And I'm trying to find a balance of not stalling over systems, because I've had such a challenging experience not having systems in place. And so now I feel like I'm going a little bit too far in the other direction, that it's actually stalling me a little bit. And so I need to also find a good balance in making things good enough for now, knowing that I need to test some things out and adjust, and not be afraid to actually just move forward without things being absolutely perfect. So this is really this is very helpful.
Thank you again for sharing. Um, Systems don't have to be perfect. Perfect is never, I mean, that's on in my part, and I say that for myself as well. Sometimes we're waiting to execute ideas because we want them to be perfect. But as you navigate your business, you'll realize that there's gonna be moments that you're gonna have to make changes, that you're gonna have to pivot, not just on the systems, but on the business as a whole. Like I mentioned before, I started with the idea of just being a co-working space. And now we're more like a venue than a co-working space, even though we still have that concept. But I know Jessica raised her hand. Jessica?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, actually, I kind of like where you're going with this, just because I'm in the building stage right now. And that means that everything is very much under development. So it's right, like we're in that phase of nothing is set yet. So yes, it is a bit messy, but what you're saying here, these 5 steps, that'll be because it's an algorithm, and I anticipate that this will be a nice, tight, clean process. I plan on having data, metrics, dashboards for my clients and for my employees. Like it's going to be very, very as long as my vision comes to fruition, it will be a tight ship. But we're not at that phase yet. Still growth, just developing, building.
Well, one of the reasons why I mentioned that at the beginning, I mean, we have an ideas and putting those ideas on paper is great. And then what we think we need to do in our business, also putting it on paper is important. But at the end of the day, again, at the beginning, it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be messy. I know I sound like I'm repeating myself, but I thought I had a business, not a business system, but I had a operation manual that it was super good and perfect in my head. But then the questions and the issues started arising from situations that, again, um, we're gonna face as we run in our business, and especially at the beginning, because there's a lot of learning to do about processes and about things that need to be implemented to be successful, including even licenses sometimes that we don't think we need, or something as basic as, you know, how does your staff answers the phone when they're getting it from an extension that pertains to specific items in your website, not having a script for them. I mean, those are things that, again, we're gonna do at the beginning, and it's gonna be messy, and it's gonna take us years to even capture um, little by little, as we go through the different stages in our businesses when it comes to, from the idea component, and then now you're building some sort of structure, you're going to go through these five essential stages, you're going to capture, which means collecting every task, idea, processes that you're doing on an everyday operation of your business that are currently living just in your head. So know that that's going to take some time. Then little by little, you're going to start what those um, clarifying what those processes look like. You're going to define, what are some of the essential stuff that you need to do in order for you to successfully achieve some results. And then once you get to that clarification, which again is also going to take time and it's always going to be a work in progress, we need to start creating repeatable templates that we could delegate for other people to follow, for our employees to follow. And it's going to take some time until you are able to automate some of these repetitive tasks to free the energy of your staff, to free the energy of yourself, and actually start seeing results that are consistently, what's the right word? Um, like results that are consistent based on your actions. Let me just give you again another example. I've been in real estate for 20 years. I know that if I get on the phone and I make 100 calls, I'm most likely to make about 20 to 15 to 20 appointments. So in order for me, and from those 15 to 20 appointments, I probably will get maybe 3 to 4 actual clients. So now if in a year or in a month, I want to achieve and close about 10 transactions, I now know based on, again, the stuff that I'm tracking, how many calls am I making? What am I saying? What are the lists of people that I'm calling? All these things I know. Eventually I got into the point that I know exactly what kind of results am I going to obtain. And that's the same way I train my agents. When they are new and they're getting into the business, I say, you know what, you need to be on the phone for about 2 hours. And within those 2 hours, you're gonna be able to reach a certain amount of people. And if they're not, I actually started recording their calls because I wanted to know why is it that it takes me 2 hours for me to make a certain amount of calls, and it took them 4 hours to take the same amount of, to make the same amount of conversations or calls for potential clients. So I started recording it because I needed to know how to coach them. I needed to create a system that allows them to be successful. I know I was able to implement that for myself, but then little by little, I needed to, again, create measurable, um, trackable, um, I would say trackable, uh, I don't want to repeat system, but trackable and systems that I could track within our team that could be able to be adjusted, and that I was able to give them again more and more assistance for them to be successful, because again I wanted to obtain certain results every month so they could also provide for their family and build successful businesses. So when you guys start thinking about everything that you're doing in your business, again, make sure that you are taking the time to go a step by step, and know that sometimes you're going to have to go back into some of these steps, and it's going to be an ongoing process for your business. But over time, you will start seeing more and more results because, again, the implementation of um, some of these, sorry, some of these processes that you're putting in place.
I feel like
So,
US businesses are
mhm,
really struggling with this.
go
I
ahead.
hate to say, it's just I lived in Europe for 4 years. And when I compare a lot of American businesses to the way they're already doing business overseas, the US has been very slow to adopt a lot of tech, like basic tech standards. And I mean like PDFs that have fields. They're still like, here's the PDF, and you're printing it out, you're handwriting it, you're scanning it, attaching it to an email. I mean, this is a process that takes like what, 10 additional steps, where if it was just the digitized form, I could fill it and sign it, boom, it's done. They use a lot of tap to pay over there. And I got frustrated when I first returned to the US because so many businesses have been so slow to adopt the changes. And the worst part for me is to watch them not only not pivot, but when you try to suggest feedback for their business, they dig their heels in even harder. And they're like, no, we couldn't and we can't. And there's just 5 million excuses for why they won't catch up with the year's 2026. It's not 1992 anymore. And I know everyone's fascination with the 90s is like taken over, but it's kind of frustrating. Like, I just have to say, and like I kind of wish people like this would like give more lectures so they would kind of know, you know what I mean? Like where I'm coming from. So thank you.
So, well,
Hey,
and thank you. You go ahead.
so when it comes to what she just talked about, there's an app that I use whenever I have to fill out PDF forms, and it's called Doc Hub, and that's what I do whenever I have to like fill out anything.
Joseph, you went mute mid-story.
Yes,
I don't know if you know that.
I think you press the mute button.
Oh, I said that I use this thing called Doc Hub, and that's what I use whenever anyone sends me any kind of PDF or any kind of form that I have to sign via email or online.
That I've seen, because I saw someone tried to use something similar the other day. It wasn't compatible with the organization she was trying to get in touch with. So it looked like she was able to convert it, but for some reason, when she went to save it and then attach it to an email, it wasn't retaining the data. And I didn't know enough about that specific platform. I'm like, no, maybe there's another one. But I think if businesses just sent the PDF with DigiFields, and it's not fair to all businesses. I have seen some do it. I think it's a slightly upgraded version of PDF, but I mean, I feel like that's a worthwhile investment to make, just to make life, more efficient and convenient for people.
Well, one biggest thing, because everybody is going to have different businesses that follow different processes, and some are going to need more technology than others. That one of the things and one of the tools that I have that I learned at SeedSpot, another commercial for SeedSpot, was surveys, running surveys, having a QR or having something in place where your clients are able to give you feedback on how to improve your whole approach on how you're running your operations. Why is this important? Because the businesses that survive are not necessarily the strongest, are the ones that actually are able to adapt, the market condition, the changes in the market, the customer needs also change over time. So sometimes you plan that you have your idea, by the time you implement it, is already redundant, it's already old. So in order for us to be able to make changes quickly, we need to be able to determine, um, again, how are we going to adapt, so we don't kill the momentum? How are we going to pivot without losing our vision or purpose of our business? Because you have to be open to making changes. You have to be open to pivoting from the original idea and adjust it to today's needs. Because otherwise, again, that business will die, and it will stay always at our early stages, which is, again, the 82% of the businesses is what they go through. But in order for, again, for that to happen, you need to build feedback loops that allows you to measure, learn your consumer, or learn whatever changes you need to make so you can make the adjustments. That way, again, your business is able to improve continuously and that becomes your competitive advantage. Jessica and even Joseph said, um, the number one killer in businesses is number one, the inability for them to receive feedback and actually do something about it. They take forever to do it. And to be honest with you, that's something that even me as a realtor with tons of experience and plenty of clients in the past, now my clients are asking me, hey, Caroline, do you have an Instagram? And to be honest with you, I never thought that I needed an Instagram because a lot of my business was coming from referrals. But guess what? Even those right now that are being referred to me by other clients, they're looking me up in social media. So now what did I do? Now I hire a marketing team to start marketing my real estate on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Do I like social media? No, I don't like it. I actually hate it, but I need to adapt. I need to, in order for me to continue to build the momentum that my business have built over time, I needed to make changes. And I need to do it fast because my clientele is, again, moving on that direction. So just keep that in mind when you are building also systems, that within your systems, you have to also build build the feedback loops that into everything that you're doing so you could see how you could make those changes before it kills your vision, idea, or ongoing business. Any questions about that? Any feedback about that?
No,
So I should go ahead.
I was just gonna say, my name is Michael, and my company is a healthcare AI, and I pivoted into it during COVID. So I was just gonna throw that into. I just seen the pivot
So
part.
how did you pivot? Like what
Well,
changes did
I
you
was in a
make?
different industry. I did air conditioning and refrigeration, and then I pivoted into the healthcare industry. So I started the company as a pivot. So we already, that's already in the foundation because that's how we got into the industry that we're starting the company in. So it's already in the DNA. I just wanted to.
How have you been received by physicians and healthcare professionals, my friend?
Um, well, I'm a practical nurse, and the AI is already in the field, so it's not nothing that I've presented that's anything different yet. I'm still working on software and other information like that. So it's not nothing that I've presented yet, but just doing a lot of research, making systems, making sure everything's compliant. Because with healthcare, everything has to be compliant to the T. So just constantly crossing my T's and dotting my I's.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Anybody wants to volunteer and share what are some of the moments that they had to make some changes and pivot and also share if you wish, you have done it sooner and why.
I can share. I do both professional development and parenting education for families with young kids. Um, but I really want to expand that. But one of the things that um, is a big pivot is there was a time where it was reasonable to expect families to come for 1 hour workshops once a week, week after week. And that was something that was a normal part of programming in parenting education and also in workshops in general. And that's no longer what people are available to do. It's no longer what people can do. Attention is shrinking and people are finding information in much more convenient ways, whether or not it is accurate information. And so one of the things that I'm actively pivoting on is looking at evidence-based micro coaching and how to do really fast-paced micro moments of providing information, providing guidance in really fun, engaging ways. And one of the challenges is that there is not a really strong evidence base yet to seek funding for this type of engagement. But it's also what we're doing is not working either, because the families that are able to engage and the participants that are able to engage are not necessarily the target population. So a lot of the people that I want to work with are not able to come 1 hour a week in person, 8 weeks long. It's too much to ask. And so there needs to be a pivot, and also there needs to be some proof of concept for funders to be interested, especially in the in some of the more nonprofit work. So it's really an interesting moment of wanting to pivot, finding money for pivoting. It's very interesting.
I just was listening to you, Elizabeth, and something for you to think about as a potential revenue and marketing stream is local PTO PTAs. My children go to a public school in Phoenix, and we've partnered and brought in guest speakers that have talked about puberty, that have talked about EQ and how to parent kids with high EQ. They pay the guest speakers. They do it on a district level. Some schools do it on a school level. And I just received an email from our local library too here in Phoenix about basically like healthy food choices for kids and like how to build kids to build their own lunches even. So local libraries is a thought, and then reaching out to local PTO PTAs. They're kind of called 12 dozen things in the state of Arizona, but there occasionally is revenue there. There occasionally is like referral codes to parents that come to those. So just a thought for you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. That's really helpful.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you for sharing. And again, I'm not necessarily an expert. I just run different businesses that we have had to make some changes. And again, I'm going to emphasize on taking your time to connect with organizations such as Spot. And I'm pretty sure that wherever you guys are is not only going to be Spot, but there's always going to be other organizations that are going to I believe, ask you the right questions so you could start thinking of solutions and changes that you need to make into your business that, again, help you uh, build opportunities of growth, whether it's through building new relationships, because making changes in your business doesn't have to be based on your idea, but it could be on your approach, or even adding a different group of people that you're servicing, which is the case with me. And again, I keep using myself as an example because until recently, honestly, I even struggle with that. I know that doing right now, with everything that's happening with the current administration, my business took a hit because 95% of the people that were members in Heritage Headquarters were Latinos, small business owners, the startups that basically were coming into the space to have access to information, education, so they could grow their businesses. And now they're afraid to come to some of these workshops. Why? Because they don't want somebody to be at the door waiting for them and take them, deport them out of the country. So I need to make changes to the point even on the audience that we were targeting, where again, this now worked on my benefit in the sense of like I expanded and I started figuring out different ways on attracting different type of businesses into my space that were not necessarily based on a demographic, but it was more based um, on where they were at with their businesses and creating a marketing strategy based on that, to again bring my business into the green. And what I would like you guys to do today is to start thinking, what are some of the things that you could do in your business, systems that you could build in your business that help you, not only free up your time, but also create an easy uh, and again, I'm an energy person, and I know for some people that doesn't make sense, but my energy, I don't have unlimited energy. I don't have unlimited time. What are some of the easiest way for me to build what I want to build without burning out? Because once you burn out and you physically exhausted, mentally exhausted, that's when mistakes starts to happen. And that's why when people give up on their businesses, right when they were in the important part of their businesses to where they could probably scale a little bit and maybe even, take it to a level where we are starting to see the results of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years of hard work. So I appreciate that everybody has taken some time to share some part of their journey when it comes to their businesses. But at the end of the day, again, um, we want to pass the test of time. We want to build businesses that are worth having, that fulfill not only an emotional need, but also fulfill a financial need that we have to, again, support our family and support the vision that we have going on. So I want you guys to have in mind that energy or passion would only take you so far, but discipline is what actually going to help you um, build something long lasting. I know that Jessica has she raised her hand. I don't know if you have a question or something you want to share with us,
Well, I was just
Jessica.
going to say, I mean, if you really look at the business landscape, particularly since the 90s, there's a lot of cases of businesses that I think people thought were going to go the distance. And it's like now it's a dinosaur. I think a really good example is Blockbuster. I remember listening to this little yeah, it was like a little like a 15-minute like brief like a documentary on it, and they were saying that actually Netflix or no, Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy Netflix, and Blockbuster passed on that opportunity. And of course, now we know in the year 2026 what a bonehead business move that was. But like and there's a lot of like recent, Sears and Roebuck, a lot of big, even Macy's is starting to really kind of go the way of the dodo bird, a lot of the larger, Kmart, places like that. So I think brands that were so big, we thought they were going to be with us forever, and they're all gone now. So, and a lot of that too was that resistance to adopting kind of like what you're saying. They didn't want to like embrace online shopping. Yeah, they didn't move, they didn't flow with the times. They're like, no, we're going to operate like we did, in the 1800s and early 1900s, and that doesn't work for the year 2000. So, they're really good like business examples, business cases, I guess, for kind of making the point. Thank you for listening.
No, and thank you for sharing. I mean, for me, that's why I wanted to have more participation of everybody in here because I don't consider myself an expert on this subject, but one of the things that you point out is how monsters in certain industries um, are failing or struggling to keep growing because again they were not adaptable. They did not create an environment that was open to the changes in time. And that's why I know I keep repeating myself when I say systems and documenting things. The importance of all of that is that it allows you to see the changes that your consumer is having and the preferences that they're using to implement the tools that you're providing them, the value that you're providing them. And the only way that you're going to know that and see the changes is when you're tracking some of these things. And sometimes looking at your numbers is not the only way when it comes to like, okay, how much money I have in my bank account. Because sometimes, yeah, you have a lot of, I bet Blockbuster had still memberships and they probably starting to see a decrease, but because they were not even open to feedback, They probably were not even open to exploring other opportunities because they wanted to be stuck on their business model. It's okay to make changes. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to keep an eye on things that you could be implementing in your system, in your business. But now keep in mind that in order for that to be successful, you have to have an action plan. You have to have a documented system that you are able to come in and make some small changes or big changes. And I say big changes because I made a big, huge change, but I still wanted to maintain up to a certain level the integrity of the vision. So I made changes that started small and little by little based on surveys and things that I was running with the audience that I was engaging with. I was able to refine those systems and then start implementing them to the point to where, now we are gaining into the different stage, which is now I'm starting to train people and hopefully being able to automate some of the ongoing everyday tasks, but also still keep in mind the changes with the audience that we have or the clients that we have, so we could continue to provide some results, at least the results that we need in order for us to keep growing. I know it's a lot of information. I hope that you guys take the time to, again, in the next 30 days to start documenting. If everything that you know is in your mind, start writing those things down and go through this process. I will share this presentation with you guys so you could make adjustments and also take the opportunity again to continue to invest the time on the tasks that are going to allow you to take what you're building to a sustainable stage in your life. Um, I don't know if anybody has any questions, anything that they want to share. I appreciate the feedback. If you guys have feedback, I'm willing to take it. I don't have a feedback form on this one uh, because I did wanted to hear from you guys. We still have a few more minutes before the whole workshop is over. So please share, take a couple of seconds to share with our peers.
I just want to thank Caroline for coming in here and opening up a conversation, allowing people to connect and to share their stories. So let's give her a round of applause. For those of you who are familiar with Start Spring training, the Heritage Headquarters space has been a big part of our work. We leveraged it for classes and for our showcase. And so if you're ever in South Phoenix, please stop by. It's a beautiful multi-purpose space, as mentioned. It's got an art gallery, and you can see her in the flesh doing all of this stuff live, giving coaching, creating events, empowering women. So please, 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 thank you for all of the work that you've done here today. I want to thank everybody for being on the call. And as mentioned, if there are any questions now, it's do you know where the Diamondbacks play baseball? She's 2 streets south of that. So it's considered the warehouse district of Phoenix, but it's off 7th and Lincoln, or it's cross streets. There's an ASU campus building on the corner, and it's kind of nestled inside a larger building called Galvanize. They've got just opened up a new coffee shop upstairs, Coffee Drunk, I believe. And then right next door is Heritage. It is beautiful. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for being here. Yes, you got it, Jess. Yep. Thank you everybody for being on the line. Always a pleasure to build community, even virtually. And I know some of us have done some research and created communities and know the importance of it. So big thank you to everybody who's here. And yeah, as mentioned, we'll follow up with the recording and the deck, and we'll talk soon. Thank you guys.